So 561 Music now has a hotline. You can call us anytime at 561-203-9122 and ask us any questions you like. Some humorous ones or something about the guests we've had on the show, or questions about gear, or questions about the festival, or anything you like. It's, of course, 561-203-9122. We would love to hear from you. We did a pretty fun little message, so you get to hear that too. Even if you just call up to listen to me and Hector trying to do a good phone message, that's a good enough reason. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you, so please get in touch. Hi guys, I know everyone says this on every YouTube channel, but please, could you like and subscribe to 561 Music Podcast? It's a local music podcast, and all we're trying to do is help local musicians get some exposure. So if you could like it, subscribe it, and also hit the notifications button on the episode, we would really, really appreciate it. And if you're feeling generous, you could subscribe to the Spotify as well. Thank you.
Take it by the scene, it's what we're doing. Come and check it out, it's what we're all about. 561 Music!
Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right. So I went to England. That was fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you went to Ireland.
I had a nice time, dude. I had a really nice time. Got to see my family, and so my mum and dad live in this place called Upper Chute, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. It's
nice.
It's like they drove a car to the end of all roads, and then went a bit further, and then like cut down some trees, and then built a house.
Dude, I love that. I see the pictures you post, man. Like, it looks beautiful there.
Yeah. It's lovely, and we had a really nice time. Christy and I went, and I tell you, I think probably the best thing about it was that Christy and I got to, well, outside of seeing my sister's child, Marcel, daughter, which was definitely the highlight, because time flies so fast.
It does, man. You have no idea. It's crazy. Especially, I can't even imagine with you being here and them being there. Like, when a year goes by, it's a huge big deal. Even for me, like I live in the same county, in the same town as my family, and sometimes, like, if a week goes by or 2 weeks go by and I don't get to see them or something, and then I see them, I feel like, oh my God, it's been so long, So I can't even imagine, a year like that.
No, exactly. And you notice it in the adults, but with the kids, it is just bizarre. They just go up like sprouts.
They do, man.
Yeah.
They do.
So that was cool. But really, I think, the thing that Christy and I did was just a bit of time to hang out. It's really such busy lives,
I saw you got to see Layla and some of your mates over there.
Yeah. I'm doing a ska. Like a kind of a traditional ska, like Jamaican style ska, Jamaican two-tone type ska. So it's not like super traditional, but it's kind of that leaning that way,
Yeah.
And you're in it. You're playing bass.
I am.
And I'm just getting as many people as I can on it. So Layla and Nick from my old band Sonic Boom 6 did some stuff.
Nice.
And then I've got all these different people, like I've got Cooley Ranks, who was in the Toasters and Pilfers in it. I've got Dave McWayne, who's in Big D and the Kids Table. If you're into ska, you know who all these people are.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. And the horn section from this amazing band Control This, who one of the guys, Jeff Ritchie, was in the Toasters as well.
Nice.
So it's quite a high Toasters contingent on this.
Yeah, man. You got Ricky on drums too.
Yeah, Ricky killing it on drums. Ricky did a great job on drums.
He did a stupid good job.
And the crazy thing about that is he pretty much did it first take. Like, he listened to it a couple of times, and then he was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I ended up using the first take on nearly all of them. I have 3 takes of all of them. I'm using the first take.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I'm having a lot of fun mixing that. And also, Joey Caldereo's on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was just mixing his harmonies on there today.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, so I'm just layering it up and up with all these people. Matt Krug is going to be doing a harmony on there too.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm just
trying to... You do have everybody on there.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I guess, like, part of the reason was just because I like talking to my friends, and it's a nice way to communicate with people. And then the other reason was if there's a whole bunch of different people on it, maybe someone will listen to it.
If there's 20 people on it, 20 people will share it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. And then this weekend we played at Twisted Trunk, didn't we?
We did. That was our first time there. That was a fun time. That place got packed, and then
Yeah.
it rained, so there was like a captive audience, which was always nice.
Yeah,
And then,
I tell you what, we've never played there, and I'm sure I must have been there at some point, but I can't really remember when. But we had no idea what it was going to be like.
no, it was
And
fun, man.
Showed up, and the stage is a little small for fitting us all on, and we were a bit like, oh, what's this going to be
It
like?
was like a
And
sheet of plywood, about 3 inches off the ground.
yeah. But then it was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Loads of people showed
A
up.
lot of people were there.
Yeah,
it was fun, man.
And we had a blast. And then we were gonna play at Townie's Tavern, and it got rained out.
Yeah, that would have been our first time there, but that's kind of an outdoorish place, right? It's like a tiki hut or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get back in there at some point.
Cool.
And then another point during the weekend, I got a perm, but it just completely came out.
But it just
immediately.
came out?
Yeah, like immediately. I don't know what that's about. I have to get James to do it again. But they look quite cool. It's like got a mohawk going on there. So I'm happy. And the other thing that sucked this weekend is I got an unbelievably bad headache that lasted for like 3 days.
Oh, man, that's never fun.
No, I was like bedridden with it. I ended up with like a fever from it. Yeah, it was the worst.
Damn,
I've
man.
never had a headache like that.
No, that's not good.
No, it
That's
sucked.
definitely good.
And Jacqui knows all about that because she was trying to get in touch with me, and I was like off the grid. But without further ado, let's introduce Hot Sauce Moon. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Awesome.
Very good. Thanks.
Yeah, nice
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
us.
So we've got Charlie here who you play guitar, harmonica, and flute, and you write the songs in the band. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, I do.
And he
Yeah.
whistles.
Yeah, no whistle. Well, that's the fiddle part.
Oh, gotcha. And then we have James who sings but also plays this cool thing called a Zen drum.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
It's like, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And Jacqui, and you sing, don't you?
I sing.
Yeah, and you also book the gigs, right?
Yeah, I book the gigs.
Yeah, cool.
She is a force to be reckoned with.
I believe it. So the first thing that we usually do with everyone is we find out a little bit about you guys' musical background. How did you find yourself getting into music? Were your parents supportive? All that kind of thing. So why don't we start with Charlie, and you tell us a little bit about your beginnings.
Well, I started playing harmonica when I started when I was 12.
Nice.
And then I played up until high school, and then I found that most bands would go, "Oh, a harmonica player," and roll their eyes because harmonica players have a bad rap on as far as getting on stage and just playing all over everybody.
Sure, yeah.
So I started playing flute the second half of my senior year. I picked up the flute, and then.
Cool.
And then after I graduated, I bought a guitar and learned music theory, and that's pretty much when I got
After you
started.
graduated, right? Okay.
So
How did you learn music theory? Did you get a teacher or did you just do it yourself?
no, I just did it myself.
Right.
To
Cool.
try to figure out keys and and that gave me all the ingredients to start writing because
Yeah.
you find out what's between all of the.
Yeah.
All the between chords in
Sure.
in a key, and then you see, well, this key's close to this one, and so you
Yeah.
can jump up, and so it's just a work in progress.
No, I hear that. Where were you? Where are you from originally? You from Florida? Or?
Well, I was raised in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia until I was in about 11, and then I moved to Fort Lauderdale. So I lived in Fort Lauderdale for several years, and then
Gotcha.
moved to Jensen Beach when in my teens, and then went back and forth between New Jersey and Jensen Beach for working in the restaurant business for many years. And
Oh, okay.
so then I settled down back down here.
So has music been a part of your life this whole time? Have you always played?
I've always played, but not professionally. But
Okay.
I started picking up music because I didn't play with a pick for a long time, and then so I went in. I guess it must have been the '80s or so. To they used to have a jam on a porch, and then I used to go over there, and then I met a guy who played stand-up bass, and then we played for many years around Jensen Beach, the
Oh,
Fort
cool.
Pierce area as a duo.
What was
the
that called? Okay.
Hot Sauce Boys.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
And then we got we were friends with Patty King's father, and then when he was he used to come play with us when he was 10, and then when he was 12, when he got
Yeah.
to be about 14, he played, and we said, we want you to come and play with us all the time at every gig.
I mean,
So,
who wouldn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
so
a
he-
player.
So
Even
yeah.
then, he was an amazing player.
Yeah, he was. He
He's
was just
incredible.
great. And so we played together for many years, and
Oh,
still
fantastic.
good friends, and you know.
He comes around to Killbillies gigs every now and then. He'll show up and he'll just kind of be there watching. And we're like, "Do you have your fiddle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Step
You must
on
come
up.
up.
You must come up and
Yeah.
play a few. You know, it just changes the dynamic of the
Yeah.
band incredibly.
And he's been, just like with you guys, he's been playing with us since the band started. Like, you know, we'd play Carson's Taverns gigs and he'd show up with his dad and get up, you know. And it was great. Like, he has this kind of intangible musical sense where he just knows the right thing to play at like almost every moment. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never met anyone like him. You know, I mean, I've met very good musicians, a lot of them, but you know, I think Paddy takes the cake just in terms of like his jamming ability. He's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. What about you, James? How did you find yourself playing music?
Yes. Well, I started off singing in choirs, and started in like junior high school and through high school, and basically learned to read music from doing choir parts.
Yeah.
And then I started to sing with some friends of mine who played guitars, and we would start harmonizing together.
Nice.
And my first shows, the first time I did anything professionally, I was like 17 years old, and I was on Miami Beach at the Algiers Hotel and Eden Rock and the Fontainebleau. I was a maitre d', an MC, and I would introduce acts in a variety show, and then I'd have 2 or 3 songs. If they needed to stretch, I'd get a third song. But
right.
stuff like I Gotta Be Me and Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head and stuff like that shows my age. And yeah, so it was great. It was a lot of fun. And I went to college, and I was in a madrigal choir, which was a 24-person a cappella choir
Cool.
with 12-part harmony. It was pretty
What
insane.
kind of stuff are you singing? Madrigals?
It was everything from the swingle singers to Latin and German and French.
Great.
It was just, we did a little gospel, a little bit of
I
everything.
love choral singing. I've done a lot of it in my life too, and it's just it really is. It transports you sometimes. You know, there's something so visceral about it. It's something very physical about it. You know, I love it.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I bet.
So I started playing around the time of coffee shops and coffee houses, and I started playing with this guy, Phil Allen, in Miami. I grew up in Miami, and so Phil and I started doing a lot of harmony stuff together, and he would sing mostly baritone. I would do the high tenor parts, and his brother, Steve, would sing even higher than that. It was really interesting. So we'd do these 3-part kind of eagle things on traditional folk music and things like that. And we played out all over Miami as a trio. And then ultimately we got a job. We thought we had hit the big time. We got a job at the Flick Coffee House in Miami, which is right next to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
And that was a place where all of the people from the coffee houses all up and down the East Coast came.
Cool.
And there was a lot of really amazing talent in that, like they did bicycle tours up and down the East Coast.
All right.
So we got in there for like a couple of weeks. So we were like the opening act. We thought we had gone to heaven. So it was really great. Yeah. So then we started building the band up. We went from 3 people to 4, 5, 6, and eventually started playing out all over Miami in different clubs.
And what kind of music is this with this band? What sort of style?
Well, it was very similar to what we're doing because Phil wrote a lot of his own music, Phil Allen, and so it's like Charlie does with this band.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of harmony parts, and I would get to sing leads. But we would do a lot of a lot of covers and a lot of bar music, and it was an 11-year party. So
Fantastic.
I had to take a break after the 12th year. I had to just take a little time off. So
Nice.
so then I moved to New York and did no music at all for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha,
Yeah, that's a
okay.
huge break.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I returned to Florida because my mother was having some health issues. So I came down, took care of her for like 8 years. She passed a few years ago in July. And yeah, thanks. She was really great. It was a really good time being with her and having that time with her at the end of her life. And she lived to be 93, which is terrific.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I had some really great times with her. And as therapy, I was going out to some shop jams and some jams around town, and I would sit down and just bang on the drums and get it all out, like every
Sure,
Tuesday
yeah.
night,
It's
Wednesday night.
great therapy, yeah.
And that's how I met Charlie. I went to a couple of jams, and Charlie was there, and playing guitar and singing, and started doing harmonies with him, and slowly it evolved from me doing like the drums and the cajon to the Zen drum, which I started that I picked up 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And my digital drum kit. And
the Zen drum is really cool. We have a picture of you playing it, and we're going to talk about that later. So
Sure.
we'll get all into the Zen drum. I can't wait because it's fascinating. Keep going, man. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was really a terrific transition. I went from jamming and just doing it for therapy and relaxing to now playing with this 7-piece group when Jacqui's with us, and it's just built up and grown into this really wonderful organic thing, and we're doing a lot of Charlie's original music, which makes it very special.
Yeah. Absolutely, it does. Playing originals, I feel like it stops you getting that feeling of just that kind of stale feeling of like what are we doing here? But when you're playing your own music, it really makes it so much more worthwhile. It's like why you're there, why you're doing it. It's art at that point, and it's very important to play original music.
And when you get a reaction from the audience after an original song, and it's like the biggest reaction so far that night, it's really just a wonderful
it's
thing.
way better than getting a reaction for a cover song.
Yeah.
And there's certain cover songs that we play that are our go-tos, because we're like, all right, let's liven up this party a little bit, and we'll play that a certain song, and then everybody erupts and goes crazy, and we're like, all right, cool, that was fun. But when we play an original and the room goes crazy, like there's nothing like that.
It's
That's the best feeling.
Yeah, for real.
So then
Especially when you see them, like certain people, be singing along with the words, and you're just like, oh my God.
They've come to see you a couple times, and now they're singing along with the words and stuff, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
There was this one time, real quick aside, I was playing a festival in England about 15 years ago, and there was a bunch of people there, and I got stage fright, and I forgot the words in the middle of this great long rap, which is really, really fast. And I had no idea what to do, but thankfully there was this one kid right in the front who knew all the words and was singing them really loud. So I just started lip syncing along with him till I got back in time. I'd never been as scared as that in my life. I was like, what do I do? And I was like, okay, suddenly it came to me. I was like, follow him. Pretty funny. Anyway, Jacqui, how did you find yourself playing music, and how early did it start?
Well, when I was very, very young, I used to sing as like 4 or 5 year old. I figured out I had a good voice, and I would just do the regular stuff that everybody does with theater in school. And I ended up doing all kinds of summer theater camps when I was in high school. And I eventually went to the Boston Conservatory of Music, and I got my degree there in musical theater.
Right.
And in between going to school at the conservatory on all the summers, I would perform in all of the areas in New England, like in Vermont, in Maine, in New Hampshire, at different resorts.
Okay,
and
just you singing?
Sing and act.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So a lot of theater and a lot of opera, because I have sort of an opera voice.
Sure.
And so... And then I did professional tours, and I did all of that.
Cool.
Those of us who perform, which is all of us, you love it, you get paid, it's great.
Yeah.
But it's a hard road, as we all know.
For sure.
And it's very tiring, and I decided that it wasn't going to be the life for me to do only that.
Yeah.
And I have lots of friends that are very successful, Broadway and all of that. But that wasn't in the cards for me. I think that if I had been sort of groomed and pushed to do more opera, I probably would have been a fairly successful opera singer. But I didn't have anybody guiding me, and I liked Broadway and musical theater and standards and stuff. So I did that. And when I came down here to live, because I'm born and raised in Rochester, New York, and I lived in Boston for many, many years, and I toured New England. Yeah. So when I moved down here, I got involved, and I did professional shows, and I did quite a few shows at the Delray Beach Playhouse that were professional musical reviews, and I loved it. And so I sang whenever I could do it for pay, I would do it for pay.
Yeah.
And that was sort of, it just kind of fell by the wayside as I got into work and, like so many of us that get a job. And then a lot of years passed. And then I met this man, James, and he was obviously into music. And, it just kind of evolved into that. He was in the band and I just took a liking to what it was, and I just started to book it. And I don't sing a ton with the band. I do a lot of the harmonies to just help make it thicker. And we do a few duets, and I do a solo, and it just kind of breaks it up for them. And
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And it's fun for me. And, and typically, as you know, most of the members of the band don't like to book the band. It's
it can get a little tricky. Between Hector and I, we get it done, but it's one of these things where
it is a chore, though.
It's
a
chore,
Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
It's a chore, no doubt about it. And it's one of these things where if you've been playing a lot and you've booked a bunch of gigs, you can forget that you've got to keep booking. All of a sudden, you look in the calendar and you go, "Oh,
got nothing coming up." Yeah, exactly.
Happens with this show. Well, I had booked because we had the festival in April. I tried to get ahead of the curve, and so I think it was February. I booked all the way through June, and then all of a sudden, earlier this week, I think it was Monday, Ben reached out to me and he goes, "So we've got somebody this week, we got somebody next week, and there's nobody on the calendar after that." And I'm like, "Oh crap." I forgot. I forgot.
Yeah.
So I reached out
No,
to
it's
a whole
true.
bunch.
The follow up, it's being persistent and following up. And I always tell them it's a labor of love for me because I believe in the band. I believe in what they do. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
And because I
couldn't
love
agree
him,
more.
I want to be a part of it. And so it's been a lot of fun. And I love Charlie's songs. I think they're phenomenal originals. I think Spring, which I hope we're going to do, is, I think, it's a song like Michael Bublé should be doing it. It's just that good. I think it's just that good. So it's a labor of love, and it's a lot of fun. It gives me an outlet to still perform.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, music's very important in life, especially if you're a musical person and you've done it a lot in your life,
Therapeutic.
Yeah, I don't think
Yes.
it's a difficult thing to retire from, I think. Once you know you can do it, you're going to want to do it forever. Charlie, do you have a songwriting process? How do they come out?
Well, it's some things come from when I'm sitting around at night and I'm fiddling around with chords, and then I get some chords that go together very nicely, and I go, what does that sound like? And sometimes it comes from that. Sometimes it comes from I want to write a song about a specific thing, and I'll sit down and, put the words out, and then fit the music in. So it comes both ways with me. But,
Okay.
Mostly I think, though, it's mostly from fiddling around, get a couple beers, and then I want to get out the guitar immediately, and and then I sit there and I go through and that's good, And
Do you ever write sort of story songs, that are a whole kind of moves through
I've got some.
And how do those come to you? Do you conceive them as an idea and then write them, or is it more line by line kind of thing?
Well, I've got a song I think we're going to perform this evening, which is called Chick Talk.
Yeah.
Which came from my grandparents used to have this old grandfather clock in their hallway.
Right.
And every time I was there from 5 until they passed, that clock always sitting in the hallway, ticking, talking, and every time I came there, they were older and older and older, and then they were gone, And so I kind of thought about that and about the impermanence of life, and then I kind of came up with a song, that kind of touched on that. So some things, are like that, and then some things are just.
Do you ever fabricate? The reason I'm asking this, and I'm going hung up on the story thing, is because today I was working on a song with someone, and we were just completely fabricating a conceit, and then we were going to write it when we wrote a song about it. So it was we just took this idea that really had nothing to do with either of our lives.
Right,
It was
but
just
you
a-
placed yourself in that spot.
Right. Yeah.
and then
we-
you go, what would I feel if I was here doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We basically like wrote a little short story and then turned it into a song, which is something that I've never. I have done it before, but very rarely because I almost always write from like personal experience. Do you ever do it like that where you'll kind of just you won't actually be in some way intrinsically in the song?
Yes, definitely. I've
Yeah.
got some things. I was we were going to go do a short tour up in West Virginia, and I sat down and I wanted to write a song that I thought would appeal to people in West Virginia. So I came up with a song called "Music, the Mayhem, and the Moonshine."
Oh, cool.
And so it's a kind of but it's definitely when I wrote that, I had in mind it appealing to a certain audience.
Yeah.
And so and I do that, put myself in in somebody else's shoes. I'm a Libra, and so
Right.
I do that a lot just in my life,
Oh, there you go.
And so
yeah.
I go, well, how would it feel if I was over here and that crap was happening to me,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you go, okay, now I can kind of grasp what those feelings could be. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And
sure,
then,
yeah.
And then, so that gives you, fodder for the cannon.
Everything I
totally.
write is, and Ben's heard this before. Everything I write is about like a breakup song or like jilted love.
Yeah.
I've been married 26 years, so I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just maybe I'm putting it out in the universe. I don't know. I love you, honey. I swear. I don't know, but it's I just put myself in that situation, and then I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, but I'm glad that the situation I found myself in today when I was doing this was with a student, and it's been a while since I've taken that songwriting approach. And one of the things I love about teaching is that you're the teacher, but you're also kind of the student too. You're doing the thing with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like so it's good practice, even if even though it was your idea and you're guiding them through it, you're still doing it with them. You know what I mean? So teaching is cool. Like I think I love teaching for that reason. It makes you find yourself doing things you wouldn't otherwise do, and refreshing things that you hadn't
You
done
go,
in a while.
I remember I used to have to go and do this, and then you go,
Yeah.
well, try this, try that, and and then you get see them get a response, and it's
Yeah,
it is-
exactly.
teaching is gratifying.
When you're writing, are you coming up with like the entire everything and presenting it to the band as one cohesive thing, or are you coming to them with like, hey, here's some guitar line, here's a guitar line, the
No, pretty
vocals, or
much.
whatever?
Pretty much the songs that I have that I bring into the band are completely fleshed out. But
Okay.
then,
Everybody
then we
puts their
get it
flavor
in,
on
and
it a
then
little bit.
and then we just build it.
It comes to life.
And then
Yeah.
and then you add in all of these different parts. Put in piano and horn,
Okay, so-
and then all of a sudden this thing that came out of your mind in a half a bottle of whiskey turns into something that's solid and amazing.
So the whole structure and everything's there. But they're putting their instruments and their flavor on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And so we try to do what we try to do is just have a kind of a my belief in a band is everybody needs to have their own musical expression.
Yeah.
And that they need to be free to do what they want to do.
Yeah, Ben.
I'm
just kidding.
And so sometimes you get people that are like, oh no, we have to do a song just like the artist did it, and it's like, no,
Right.
you don't. You just take it. Every song you got to take it and you got to make it your own.
For sure.
100%.
And then when you can do that, then everybody goes, oh, they're doing that song, but I love the way those guys do it,
Yep.
And so it's
That's how we do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a cover song we play at all that is
Yeah.
anything like the
Yeah.
original.
So it's
Good for you.
it's good as an outline, and so and we do the same thing with the original material. I bring it in, and
Nice.
and I kind of say, what do you think? And then everybody will just kind of do what they do. And these guys are all the musicians in our band are just really top
So,
notch.
so that being
Fantastic.
said, what is the lineup in your band?
We have Tommy Schiffler.
Schiffer.
Schiffer.
I know that
Tommy
guy.
Schiffer.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
plays
Keyboard.
piano.
Yeah, I used to work with him.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Daryl Walker is our bass player, and he's just a monster on bass.
Yeah.
We have a name.
We have
guy
Patrick, who we brought in, who
Patrick
plays,
Norris, who plays
trumpet and flugelhorn.
and some piano.
Okay.
And then we got James with the percussion.
So, with the
And Jim Shuttlerow, he plays. does
Jim.
It,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Jim
Really?
plays guitar and
he does
harmonica,
the third guitar and harmonies.
Oh, cool.
and does some lead vocals as well. Yeah,
And harp.
yeah.
I mean,
Some
Yeah.
harmonica.
I haven't seen Jim in a while.
And
Yeah.
last,
Yeah, he just got through another bout of COVID. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Poor
yeah, it's
fella.
unfortunate, but Jim's a great guy.
Yeah,
last,
absolutely.
last
yeah.
weekend we actually added a baritone sax player,
Wow.
Al Hager.
Al Hager, yeah,
He
used to
came
be a
in and
middle
he's
school,
amazing. Just
middle school music teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Years and years and years in Morton County. And that's where I met him.
so it was just a really expanding the band and adding the horns and adding those parts in. It's just been
Yeah, and that
it's
Barry
just been
sax
really
is just
wonderful.
So Ben plays, you know, the lineup in our band is typically banjo, upright bass, and Ben playing guitar and singing, and then we do like the 3-part harmonies and all that stuff. But you know, Ben primarily plays guitar. Every now and then, see, he's got the tenor sax set on a stand, and every now and then he'll, you know, let go of the guitar and just start playing the tenor sax.
So
you know,
cool.
solos, things like
Yeah.
that. Just adds some more dimension to the band, stuff like that. I used to play saxophone for many, many, many years, and I haven't in a long time. And so I keep threatening, like, you know, because I used to play a baritone sax in you know, high school and stuff like that, and I keep saying, you know, I'm gonna get a baritone sax.
Yeah,
And we could do like dual saxes on
we were
stage.
talking about going halves on one.
Yeah,
Like,
they're so
I'm
expensive.
about
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's so much like the bass. I mean, like the bass.
I could actually, in
Yes.
some instances, I could actually forego playing a bass on the song and
Yeah.
just
Yep.
play the baritone.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
It sounds
Well, you know,
amazing
for
like
sure.
that.
You hear
Yeah.
these groups out of New Orleans. You know, I go down
Oh,
there
yeah.
every year for Jazz Fest, and they're, you know, and they use that as the bottom. You know,
Yeah,
and it
oh,
just
yeah.
fills the bottom so.
It's got that grind
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
like,
too.
and
Am
it's
I-
like, you know, when you're doing some grinding stuff, it's
Yeah.
just perfect.
I was
It
a
just-
little guy when I was playing baritone sax. It was bigger than I was, so it'd be nice to actually, you know, be able to hold it. You know,
it is big.
So, I'm going to sort of go around all of you guys, but do you still sit at home and like practice guitar? You know, like
Yeah. I don't know. It's more, you know, just playing. you
right?
know.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go and I'll have things that I work on for a long time, you know, and until I get them, you know, the way I want, you know. So I have different things that are works in progress, you know, and then a lot of times I'm just sitting around and noodle.
Yeah,
I do
right.
that quite a bit, and then that's a lot of where the songs come from. Is the noodling around, and you go,
Yeah,
I
sure.
like that, you know.
Yeah. I think I basically do the same thing. I try and do more pointed practice because I'm trying to elevate my playing a little bit, and I feel like when you practice like that, you're pretty much staying in the same spot. It's good because you're not going back, you know.
Right.
But you're staying in the same spot. So I have been. Every now and again, I'll go through these kind of periods where I just really like. For a while, I was trying to learn how to shred, you know, so I've got a lot better at that now. Not that I ever use it for anything, but I teach guitar, so I just wanted to be able to do it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's been my recent thing. And then before that, it was like a finger-picking obsession for a little while, you know, trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
I go through these little periods of...
Well, I always found that, you know, if I ever hit a glass ceiling, to go and play with other people.
Yeah.
Just get around other musicians and play with other musicians, and all of a sudden you look over and you go, oh,
Yeah.
well, I see how he's doing that, or you know, and then it just that always kept, you know, breaking the glass ceiling, and you know, when I was trying to learn, you know. So.
No, that's exactly right. I feel like I want to do that with some bluegrass guys because you know I'm getting a bit tired of my licks. You know, yeah, I need to go out and do that for sure.
Well, Charlie's house, every time there's any kind of a gathering, it turns into a musical jam with 20, 30 people. So
Yeah,
Cool.
we have
It just
these
really
great
happens.
parties. I'll invite
There's-
you guys.
Oh hell yeah, man!
so many
You know.
amazingly talented people in this area.
Yeah, really.
Retired, and also people who are, you know, semi-retired and all of that, but just amazing players, and they all
doubt.
come out and just jump in, and you know, we just give them their space and let them go.
I love it.
It's really
Sounds
great.
like a blast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, James, are you still practicing? You got your Zen drum, so did you
Yes.
have to learn how to play that?
Yeah, well, I played percussion in Miami. I was down there playing congas and bongos with 10,000 Cuban guys around me who were better than I could ever be.
It's in their blood,
even
man.
the guys who didn't play were better than I was. But so there was that, and then I started playing, the full drum set and getting into that. But it was just so cumbersome. It was so much to carry around and all of that. So I started leaning towards doing it more digitally and tried a couple of smaller digital kits and things like that, and tried to expand from there. But I think I've got 3 years in on this Zen drum now, and I don't know, maybe I'm 10% there. I think I got a long way to go, but
You're more than 10%.
I don't know. I'm nowhere near my 10,000 hours.
That's right. I've been playing bass since I was 18, and I'm like 6% there. So we're fine. We're fine. You're ahead of me.
What about you, Jacqui? You still practice singing?
Yes, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, when you sing, you must. And as luck would have it, one of my singing teachers is here in Jupiter, lives very close to us.
Oh, right.
And I'm starting back training with him on Friday.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm super excited. Your voice changes along the way. I'm just getting over being
trust
sick.
me, I noticed.
But your voice changes, and I am 60. So what happens is, all of you know, it's just different things. You can't hit the notes that you used to.
Yep.
And so I'm really looking forward to working with him, especially because in the band, you belt more. And I was always just a lyric coloratura.
Right.
Sort of standard singer. And so this is all new for me. So he's going to help me with all of that. And so I'm excited. You must continue to practice. Yes.
I'm always so jealous of singers when it comes to like practicing, even guitarists and banjo players and everything. Like, like all you guys, especially singers, because I mean, you could sing anywhere, like anywhere. You could be driving down the highway,
Right.
you're stuck in traffic, and you're singing. I mean,
Right.
let's face it, we're all singing in the car. So you're practicing, you're singing. But even guitar players and everything, it's like, it doesn't take much to pull a guitar out of a case or pull a banjo. Pulling my stand-up bass out is like it's like a 20-minute process. It's a job, man. It's like the size of a car, Like it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
So when I think about practicing, I'm like,
you got to get that spare
do
one
I
on the stand.
really
bro.
want to pull
Yeah.
that thing out? I know
Yeah,
that.
you need to get one of those little electric ones.
Yeah.
Those semis, you know, you just
Yeah.
plug them in.
I
and-
thought
Yeah.
about that. I
Ned
actually was just looking
Steinberger
at
or
one.
something, a little Ned
Yeah.
Steinberger
Yeah,
thing.
I was just looking at
exactly.
one of those, actually.
Yeah, time to spend
don't
that
tell my
money,
wife.
man.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
So how have you guys found the local music scene in the area? Have you found it supportive of your endeavors, and what's it like just with other bands? And I'm just curious how you found the local music scene. I mean, you've been in it for a really long time, so
Yeah.
it's quite maybe a good question for you guys is: have you seen it change?
I don't know. Things, it's what I would like to see change is club owners.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
guys that would
That's
be,
a good question for me.
would be a little more open to, different things.
Right? Yeah.
You know, and so, and as everybody knows, sitting here, that it takes a while to get any kind of a name recognition.
For sure.
That's a big
And a
part.
following. And
But
a big following.
as far as musicians in the area, I think it just continually amazes me about how many great musicians are in this area.
Yeah.
All the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I run across guys, or I go to different jams, and they'll be, we saw a group that opened up for us at the Cajun Festival, and the bass player, I think, was 12 years old, and the girl singer, there was nobody that was over 17 in the band, and they were cranking the Allman Brothers and doing they were cranking, and I was
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like,
wow,
oh my
cool.
God, look at these
age.
guys,
Yeah, I mean, that's why we started this podcast 2 years ago, is because the fact that there is so much talent around here, and people just weren't getting exposed. Like, they weren't, there was, like you said, the club owners and stuff. It's getting a little bit better now, but the club owners are just so hard. It's just such a hard nut to crack when it comes to like originals versus covers and stuff like that.
and and they're like, oh well, no, we have to have, we want this, you have to have all fast songs, you know, and like.
You have to have a proven following. Like they
Proven.
don't care what you're playing. They want to make sure there's butts in the seats.
Yes, right.
Which is
Yeah,
understandable because
sad.
they're running a business. But the thing is, you know what? I think part of it, the onus, actually, is it would be helpful if there was club owners that were a little more open to different stuff. But the other thing, and we've talked about this before, the onus I've started to realise is in certain ways is on us. It's like if you want something to happen, you have to make it happen. So one of the things I've been trying to do is like book some shows of original. We've all been trying to do.
Yeah.
Justin, Ricky, and Hector and I have all been trying to like book shows with like multiple band bills. Speak to club owners about it. You know, tell them that it's like you know, we'll be able to get the same amount of people in. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And I think that unfortunately, this sort of like making a music scene better is like just the boring, arduous work of booking more gigs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It does seem like there's a lot of venues in this area because there's a lot of places that have music. It might only be duos or trios, but there's a lot of places that have music available, and there's certainly plenty of room for everybody. It's not like people have to be, you know, pushing other people out of the way in order to,
Yes.
you know, make a name for themselves and you know, stop other people from working so that they can work more. That's
Yeah.
just crazy because there's just so much work around this area.
I've
That
found,
really is.
I've found very few musicians, and it's not to say that there's not an occasional one that I come across, but very few musicians around here are very like, you know, hard to get along with, or very like, no, this is my gig, get away from me. Or
Right.
like,
Don't talk to the owner.
No, most musicians are around here have always like been very helpful and very like, oh yeah, you guys want to play there? Yeah, we just played. That's awesome. I'll give you the contact, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's usually pretty helpful around here, and I love that. It's like it's a community. It's not it's not cutthroat. You know, it's very community oriented.
Yeah,
you know,
plenty of room for
you come
everyone.
over and you know, hey, come on up, play a song, you know, and,
Yeah.
and all that, you know,
Yeah.
camaraderie, which is great, you know.
Yeah, no, I love that.
No doubt about it. I think it's time we heard some of you guys' music. You up for playing us a couple of songs?
Yeah,
certainly.
let's do
that
it.
sounds great.
I remember when I was a young boy, I run in the yard to play with my toys. Grandfather clock in the hallway kept tick-tocking my time away, and it is tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. Suddenly I was a young man. I went out in the world with my plan. Grandfather clock in the hallway kept tick-tocking my time away, and it was tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. I took a wife, I settled down. I got a job working in the town. The grandfather clock in the hallway I kept tick-tocking my time away. It was tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. grandfather clock in the hallway kept tick-a-tocking my time away. And it was tick-a-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time that's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. Now I'm laying in my bed and dying. My wife and kids are standing round and crying. And that grandfather clock in the hallway keeps tick-tocking my time away. And it's tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. You only got one life to live. You better give it all you gotta give. 'Cause buddy, when your time is through, ain't nothing more that you're gonna do. And it's tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. It's tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time it's passing. Tick-tock goes the clock. Listen to the time go by. Listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time go by. Listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time go by. Listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time go by. Listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time, listen to the time go by.
Here's a song called Spring.
It's spring, time for a new beginning. It's spring, everything is green, very green, and all the flowers and all the trees, all the birds and all the bees, they know it's green, green, green. It's spring. I can feel it in my bones, I can feel it in my head. Don't you know, oh, when the time is dead, it's time for a brand new thing. It's spring.
Feel it in my head, feel it in the air. Don't you know spring is everywhere? It's time for a brand new thing. It's spring, a time for a new beginning. It's spring, and everything is green, very green, and all the flowers, and all the trees, all the birds, and all the bees, they know it's green, green, green. Yeah, it's spring.
.561 Music is sponsored by Jupiter Inlet Boat Rentals. Jupiter Inlet Boat Rentals and Boat Club is Palm Beach County's premier boat rental company and boat rental club. They have been in continuous operation since the year 2000 on the beautiful waters of Jupiter Inlet. It is the affordable alternative to boat ownership. Their membership club ranks number 1 in both quality, availability and customer satisfaction. You'll choose from their fleet of boats consisting of deck boats, dual consoles and center consoles. Rent offshore fishing boats, deluxe cruising boats, and plush deck boats, all powered by 4-stroke outboard engines. Their vessels are fully equipped for your safety and comfort with styles suitable for ocean and intracoastal use. They are located just 2 minutes away from the mouth of Jupiter Inlet, which means fast access and the most beautiful stretch of the intracoastal. In fact, no other boat company can match their ideal location. Fishermen will be thrilled to note that sports fishing starts just a quarter mile offshore, and the warm Gulf Stream is a mere 3 miles from the shore. The address is 1095 North A1A, Jupiter, Florida 33477, and you can find it at jupiterinletboatrentals.com. The telephone is 561-741-1212. In their efforts to make boating affordable, they offer rental discount membership programs that do not require a large investment up front. You pay a little to join and pay as you go. Other boat rental clubs take all your money up front, charge a monthly maintenance fee, and hope you never show up. At Jupiter Inlet Boat Club, plans start at $700 to join, and each time you take out a boat, daily fees start at just $249 plus fuel. There are no monthly fees. If you have heard of the boat club from 561 Music, please let them know when you call or go there to book a boat, and the friendly staff will take that into account and take care of you. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, you know, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of Kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like black light and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Route Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. All right, so we've just been listening to an ad for Live Music Community, which is where we're sitting right now. It's where I work. It's a music school. So we like to ask our guests, do you have any advice for upcoming musicians?
My main advice is to play with other musicians.
Yeah.
Because, they can show you tricks and you learn things and you see their fingers and you go, oh, I see. You can do that. And then it comes out that way, that and practice.
Yeah, some great advice. What about you, James?
Yes. Well, when I was growing up, I had a choir director who was very influential in bringing me to music and really making a difference. And I think, look for those people in your life and teachers and people that mentors and work with them.
Yeah.
And recognize them for what they are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jacqui?
I just want to say that I think that never underestimate the power of a teacher. Always needing a teacher, a coach along the way. You're never so good that you can't get better.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean you stay with the same teacher forever, but constantly be looking around, build a community, and get to know as many people in the music world that you can, and always be open to trying a different coach, a different teacher, because everyone brings something else to the table that can help you elevate your level of playing, singing, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Yeah, I've recently picked up an instrument called the hurdy-gurdy, and I've been having hurdy-gurdy lessons, and I've been loving it. It's nice to be on the other side of the room, because I do so much teaching. It's lovely to be a student for a change. Yeah,
That's excellent.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's great. All right, so why don't we hear a little bit about these songs that you just played us? We already talked a little bit about them, but could you tell us a little bit about the two songs you just played?
Well, we started off with a song called TikTok, and I used to go to my grandparents' house, and they had an old grandfather clock in the hallway, and every time I got to go visit them, they would get older and older, and that grandfather clock was always the same, just ticking away in the hallway. And so So I wrote this song, and it's kind of about the passage of time and not to let life slip through your fingers, because you've only got one life to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems to be a catchy tune. We get requests for it a lot.
It's a bop, man. When you guys were in there, we were playing. We were in the control room, and it's a jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we usually have Rex Blazer plays with us a lot, and then he does this kind of a Cajun thing to it. So it sounds very kind of Cajun when
cool.
we play it, So
Nice.
it's fun.
Yeah, we did the light version.
Yeah,
Here, so.
yeah.
I love Cajun music. So when it comes to the the accordion, the squeeze box type stuff, are you kind of emulating that on keys, or do you ever have like an accordion player in the band?
I've played with accordion players. We don't have one, but I love the sound of accordion and Cajun music and all kinds of New Orleans music. We play a lot of New Orleans music.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about that because I was listening to some of the recordings and I thought I might have heard some in there a little bit. Maybe it was being emulated on a keyboard or something like that.
Yeah, it could well be. Tommy does a lot of things back there and on the background, and he'll go and play something on the organ, and it kind of can give that same kind of squeeze box feel to it. So.
Yeah, cool.
Where does the it's kind of a sidetrack here, but where does the New Orleans influence come from? Is that something like? Did you grow up with that kind of music, or what?
No? Actually, we had a good friend named Ron who was a DJ at WWOZ, which is the radio station in New Orleans.
Okay.
And so. And my brother used to go to Jazz Fest every year, and then he started saying, "You guys got to come down here and see this." And so we started going to Jazz Fest, and then ever since then, you just see, because the Jazz Fest. I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans Jazz Fest.
I haven't. I've been to New Orleans, but not this festival.
Yeah, well, it's if you go and you look at take the time to take a look at the musical lineup, and it's like every different type of musician.
Yeah,
and,
I've seen that.
And it's just unbelievable that the people that are there. And so they, and they have certain stages. They have two great stages that they have, like a Lyle Lovett or Little Feat or
Right.
on the one stage, and then they have big ones, like Lizzo and
Sure.
Oh, wow.
over on the other main stage, and then they've got like 3 different jazz tents. One's for the old time jazz, and the other one is for like new age, where they have Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, and those
Sure.
type of people. And then they've got a Fado stage where they have like the local Louisiana music, where you get a lot of Zydeco stuff and Cajun music, and and they also have bluegrass bands on that stage.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then they got a gospel tent, which is a must-do, because you get in there and man, it's just like
Going to
you
church.
get the feeling.
That's got to be unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
all the different like genres like that.
Yeah, and then they got a blues tent, and they got like Charlie
awesome.
Musselwhite in there,
Wow.
and all of these great blues musicians.
Sounds
So
like we need to do a band
I was
pilgrimage.
just gonna say it sounds like a band trip for us.
Yeah,
I was actually looking on a map earlier. We should go there. We should go and play
It's
some
only
gigs
like a
there.
10-hour drive or something.
Yeah.
It's not far.
Yeah.
No,
it's not
we
too
should
bad.
totally go there and play some gigs, man. Yeah.
Now
All
we're gonna
right.
have another tour.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a house there during Jazz Fest, give us, let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
If you get something close by,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
definitely stop in.
That'd be awesome. All right, why don't we take a look at James's Zen drum? So tell us a little bit about this crazy piece of art here.
Right. So this was 30 years ago. A guy by the name of David Haney in Atlanta invented a digital drum that you could play with your fingers, and you could play it standing up to alleviate having to carry around, the whole drum kit. Each one of the little black pads on there, it plays, when you hit it, it's a MIDI signal, and when you hit it, it plays a wave file recording of that actual drum being played in the studio.
Sure.
And of course, it can be you can assign anything to any one of the pads from anything that's recorded.
Are they like velocity sensitive?
Yes, 16 levels of velocity.
Oh,
So
great.
I think I play with 2, so 2 levels of velocity. Hard, light, and hard, and that's it. But there's 16 different levels built in.
Great.
Someday, maybe at 20% I'll be able to get to
So
that.
how many?
So it's made out of a very unusual wood. It's called monogamy. It's very rare in this parts.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. So
I played that on the Zen.
now they make it in all different kinds of wood and all different kinds of finishes. So you can have it look automotive, or you can have it done just about any way. The Future Man from Bella Fleck and the Flecktones was a consultant with David Haney, the guy who invented it at the time when they were bringing it around. And Earth, Wind, and Fire used it on stage for a couple of shows when they were on tour and a few things like that. But it never really ever took off.
Yeah.
But there are like 600 people on the Facebook Zen Drum group that play out, and they all are playing live with it all over the United States and Canada.
So walk us through real quick. I'm looking at this thing, and it's got like, what is that, 5 or 6 pads on that front side of it. Is there more stuff on the end of it and on the
on
back?
the edges.
It's on the
edges?
on the bottom
There's all
and across
pads
the
and
top.
things that you can.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah. So there's 24 buttons, and so I'll put 2 hi-hats and 2 snares so that I can get so I can get runs and fills, and then I have all the top part is the cymbals. So I have 5 cymbals coming down, and then at the lower underneath my right hand I have 2 banks of buttons that are right next to each other, and that's my tom toms.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can make like a run. Come down
Yeah,
the tom
cool.
toms. And
Nice one. Where's the kick and the snare on there?
the kick is underneath my thumb.
Right.
I play all the kick drum with my thumb.
Right.
So it's sort of like playing on the bar.
Yeah.
You're sitting at the bar and you're tapping out the beat to the music. That's similar to that.
And which hand are you hitting the snare with?
I could do either one. I could do.
Oh, gotcha, 'cause
I
you
could
can
do
do- yeah.
bass snare with one hand, or I could do the bass, and usually I'm doing the snare with my left.
Gotcha.
And I'll do, the cymbal hi-hats and things like that.
That's crazy. When you sent this picture over, when you guys filled out the form and the picture came over, I had no idea this was a digital. Like I looked at it and thought it was some sort of acoustic, like a cajon type thing that you held.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was digital. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the beauty of it, because there's a ton of MIDI instruments out there, but that it just is classy. Looks classy.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Actually,
it actually looks like
I
a
actually
real
have it here if you want to put it up there.
cool.
The setup
Yeah,
time compared to a regular drum kit, you go plug it in and you play it.
Yeah.
Rather than having to get there an hour early like that.
And it's a conversation starter from the audience. They're
Yeah.
always everybody wants to know what it is. So and it's when I book the band, I always tell them that we have we use a Zen drum, not a full drum set.
At least they ask what it is, and then we'll just assume it's the wrong thing. Like
Right.
with my stand-up bass, everybody's like, "That's a really cool cello you're playing," and then I have to like smack them, and then it gets really ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at all these buttons on here.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, so that's
isn't
my
it?
little MIDI, wireless MIDI device.
Yeah,
So it
gotcha.
sends the MIDI signal wirelessly to the
An
brain.
XLR out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all done with MIDI. And
Yeah,
then
so he's
the
just
brain
going out of this.
It's like a brick,
Okay.
and it has all of the recordings in it, and then that goes XLR out.
Yeah, that's
from
a
that.
that's a MIDI cable.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's not XLR. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
tell them
yeah.
how many drum kits there are.
Yeah, this one I have the 16, and so I've got jazz kit, a rock kit, blues kit, reggae. I've got cajon and conga bongos.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
try
but
to
of
keep a
course,
list on the back, so-
it being digital and all that, you can have as many as you want. innit?
Yeah, and it's just a matter of plugging it into the computer and then
Yeah.
reassigning the buttons to whichever way I want to do it.
That is gonna be one of the coolest drum things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's neat. It's like
Yeah.
the guitar of drums.
It is.
Yeah. It's rad.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So what have you guys got coming up? Is there anything that we should know about?
Yes, we do. The summer's not been that hugely busy for us because we have so many people on vacation.
Yeah.
As you know,
Yep.
when people are gone, we have somebody that got sick. So we've had, I haven't booked as much up to now, and I'm looking forward towards the end of summer into the fall now because, most clubs are booking fall.
We forgive you.
And so, we're going to be at July 1st, Saturday, July 1st. We're at Swampgrass Willie's in Palm Beach Gardens.
Cool.
And on the 22nd of July, we're at E.R. Bradley's. We're at E.R. Bradley's we're pretty much there almost every month, but every 2 months.
Okay.
And we love it there. It's a perfect place for us.
Do you play outside there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
play under
yeah,
the
we do that
tiki
one
hut.
sometimes, yeah.
There's certain clubs that are just so perfect for us and
That's
for
same
what
thing
we
with
do.
us,
And
yeah.
it's the same thing for you, that we're there. And then if you just go to hotsaucemoon.com, we have our whole schedule there that you can see, or on Facebook. We have it. But, it'll pick up. I've already got some bookings into the fall already.
Yeah.
And, on that same day, on the 22nd, that we're at E.R. Bradley's at night, that morning, the guys love me for booking this one. We're doing the Fort Pierce Farmers Market.
Oh, there you
Yes,
go.
yeah.
Which we've done before.
Yeah.
It's a great
It's
event.
amazing.
Yeah, green markets, farmers
Lots of
markets.
people.
I love them.
It's
Lots
a
of
great
people.
We do
event.
the
Really good.
gardens one every now and then, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
early,
many
but
people.
it's still, you just get into it, and the people are so gracious
Yeah.
and thrilled.
Yeah,
and
it's
generous.
such a difference between playing in a bar and a bunch of drunk people and then playing at a green market where people are walking around buying nice, healthy food. Also, the cool thing about it is, like, you only get a certain type of person at a bar late night. Those things, it's across the board. It's everybody.
Everybody.
And so,
Yeah.
like, more people have seen us play at the green market in the few times we've played it than have seen us play in the gazillion times we played it, like O'Shea's in the middle of the night. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's it's crazy how many different people I bump into who are like, oh, I saw you at the green market.
And I find that they're super generous.
Yeah,
Super
totally.
generous.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are
Yeah,
still
so-
doing the Brewhouse Gallery about every other month.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brewhouse was the first place we played February of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we first started, and we were a little
Yeah,
quartet.
and then we had a vacation for a little while.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't know
COVID
what
thing.
happened. It was- Someone got sick or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also play iguanabanas a lot, too.
Okay.
Oh,
But
cool.
Brewhouse was great because it gave us that first time when we got up on stage, and I know a lot of other bands that has happened for them as well. So we like going back there like every other month and giving back and trying to help out as well. So
Yeah,
I
man.
know a lot of
'cause we're,
bands that
we're
have,
kind of big for that stage, but
Yeah.
gotten their start there. So.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
very open.
I mean,
to the
us,
local bands.
it was not that we got our start there, but, at one point we were playing it quite a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also do quite a few festivals. We do a
Nice.
lot of festivals in the area. So
Well, everyone's got to be looking out for you guys. A very, very interesting band, and I didn't know 100% what to expect, but you guys are delightful, and the music is fantastic.
Well, thank you so much.
And thanks so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it, and good luck with everything. And I've got to come and see a show because the two tunes you played on the show I loved, and from listening to your music over the past couple of days, I'm just kind of preparing for the thing. I'm a new fan, so love it.
Oh, great,
you're
great,
so
great.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes,
It's so great to
yes.
finally meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And please bring your cello. So
Oh,
Your cello.
for sure.
You can sit in with your cello.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool. So if you want to like and subscribe and all of that stuff.
Yeah, for all our listeners and all our watchers, it's very important that you follow us, you like us, you subscribe to us. Like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow us on all the social medias. It's at 561 Music Podcast.
Yeah.
At all of the social medias. And if you go to 561music.com, it has all of our past episodes, over 100 episodes now. We've 2 years strong on the podcast. It has all of the links to go to the YouTube channel, to go to Killbillies. If you're a band and you want to submit to be on the podcast, there's a submission button on there. There's I don't even know, sponsor stuff on there.
Yeah,
like
and actually,
pretty much everything.
That is pertinent. We are looking for sponsors. So
Yeah.
if anyone knows anyone who wants to sponsor a local music podcast called 561 Music, please get in touch with
That's
us.
us.
Yeah. We would really appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
And,
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, and I guess that's it. See you later. Peace out.
bye.